Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630. WMAL.
7:37 on the Morning Majority. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, Mary Catherine Ham, and on the line is our good friend Tucker Carlson, who just had a very interesting dinner. I don't want to waste a lot of time. We want to get right to it, but just to set the stage, you won the opportunity to have dinner with Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn, and at a celebrity auction kind of thing, right?
Yes, it was an auction for the Illinois Arts Council.
Right.
I just could not resist.
So
I wanted to go make them uncomfortable, and we did.
And so you go to Chicago for the big dinner, and you take along, let me get this right, a reporter, Jamie Weinstein, Matt Labash, who's a senior writer there at the Daily Caller, Andrew Breitbart. You went along with your brother, Buckley. And what did you find as you entered the room?
We found the room packed with a bunch of their lefty buddies. Including a University of Chicago history professor and a bunch of teachers, and they had basically stacked the deck and brought along a bunch of their friends to serve us dinner, this incredibly elaborate dinner in probably a $6 million penthouse apartment overlooking the Loop in Chicago. It was totally surreal. It was bizarre. Here are these enemies of capitalism in one of the most opulent settings I've been in a long time, serving this gourmet meal. So we had actually an incredibly interesting time and an utterly surreal time. They tried their best to be nice. They didn't want confrontation. Of course, we did. But we learned a lot of things that were predictable and some that weren't. Here's something that I was fascinated by. Bernadine Dorn. You'd imagine she listens to NPR every day. And, of course, you'd be right. She has her whole life. She has given up NPR, and her favorite radio show is Mike and Mike on Sports Talk ESPN Radio.
Look, I got to say, I read that, and now I resent you for making me think she's slightly cooler.
Well, I don't know what to say. I just pick up these facts and report them. But I mean, I just wonder if Mike and Mike, as they're going through their Super Bowl recap,
right,
know that there's an aging terrorist in Chicago sipping latte and cheering them on. It's completely fascinating. We pressed them on all the questions that have been circulating about them. Did Ayers write Obama's book? Boy, we hit him on that question 9 ways to Sunday. He denied it pretty rigorously. Did they babysit the Obama children? No, they claimed, though they interestingly, I thought, did know the children. They said they had met the children. They weren't just passing acquaintances of the Obamas. And they both conceded that the Obamas were the people that, the only politicians that had gotten them excited in a long time. But, they thought this through. They didn't want to give up any information about the Obamas for sure. And I should just add, of course, Bernadine Dorn did at one point compare the United States to Nazi Germany because, of course she did.
Really? Did you get into the whole bombing thing at all?
Oh, yeah, well, of course we did.
Okay.
They bombed the Capitol building.
Right.
What the hell was that?
And what was their response to that?
Oh, that was so long ago, Brian. Ancient history. Like, what are you talking about? That's irrelevant. What are you, crazy? Like, yeah, were you reading history books again? It was that kind of thing.
The thing that kills me, is there any sense that they are truly amazed and grateful and even surprised, like the rest of us, at how accepted by polite society they are and the position that they have landed in life, despite being actual unrepentant domestic terrorists?
No, of course not. I mean, they're like upper middle class, entitled people. So it's like, you're not grateful for anything. It's like, of course, you can bomb the Capitol building and not go to prison. It's like
they bombed it in a cool way,
I should say, I mean, if I'm being totally blunt, like I'm appalled by them, but she's pretty smooth. I mean, she's a charmer. There's no question about it. I mean, there's a reason that they, have been rehabilitated. Well, two reasons. One, the left agrees with their politics fundamentally. And two, they have made a real effort to be socially acceptable, and they have their talking points down. They look like aging baby boomers, which I guess they are.
Did Andrew Breitbart?
It's really fascinating.
Did Andrew Breitbart behave himself?
Well, I mean, we all did our best not to behave ourselves, and we tried very, very hard. Trust me. And we had definitely some highly uncomfortable moments. But I guess I was just struck again by, of all the dinners I go to, and obviously I go to a lot of dinners, I live in Washington, this was the single most opulent dinner I've been to in a long time. And you just would never think that, the people who said, who raised their hands in solidarity with Che Guevara and screamed, "Kill the pigs," would be the one, serving you this unbelievably expensive meal.
Well,
I've been there, man. It was the weirdest thing I've been to in a long time.
They're the left of the left. Are they happy with Barack Obama right now?
Yeah, they love Obama. I mean, they gave their, obligatory, he's not quite as liberal as we are. But then if you got right down to it, no, they love the guy. They absolutely, they love him, and they agree with him. I mean, you couldn't get him to say one bad thing about Obama. Not one. So here are people who spent their lives, and I really, really pressed them on this, who spent their lives, like, denouncing war. But it's not war they're against. It's the United States. So, and the right. So if you say, well, okay, you hate the war, you hated Nixon, you hated Bush, Obama is running around killing large numbers of Muslims every day with drones. Doesn't that upset you? Well, they would change the subject. No enemies on the left. This is debate. This is like the fundamental rule of the left.
And is it true that they set out copies of your book around the room?
Yeah, I walked in. There was my book, which I wrote quite some time ago, sitting on their coffee table. The whole thing. Look, these people have master's degrees in psyops. Okay.
What did you have?
It was bizarre.
What did you have for dinner?
We had like 7 courses.
Wow.
Yeah, because I thought, look, they're probably going to poison us.
You're right.
I'm sure, you know what I mean? I'm sure I somehow caught syphilis from that dinner or something. But
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think there will be consequences there. I'm not sure what. But I figure if you're going to eat it, just go all the way. So it was, ribs. Actually, the food was unbelievable. Ribs and this bizarre hot carrot soup, which sounds gross but wasn't. And then tofu, which I despise, but in this case was actually quite good. And all sorts of weird. I mean, it was very liberal food.
Right.
Ribs. Ribs aren't liberal, are they?
No.
So
not yet.
Bill
Thank
Ayers
God.
got you to eat tofu. I think that's the headline out of this story that didn't go reported.
Hey, man, when in Lefty Land again.
And was this during the time frame of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Super Bowl was going on.
Yeah. What more do you need to know that they hate America?
But Bernadine Dorlick's Mike and Mike actually be having a party without the Super Bowl on, for crying out loud.
Well, she did excuse herself like every couple of minutes to go into the kitchen, I think, to watch the game. But I gotta say, that such is our commitment to journalism.
Yeah.
That,
I know.
we got all those people together on Super Bowl Sunday, but it was worth it.
All right, Tucker. Good to have you on. We always appreciate it.